staying on this side of the world and actually staying in the same city that I'm in Copenhagen, Denmark, we're moving on to my very own bookkeeper here in Denmark. Katalin is the owner of Cool Accounts APS, and she started Business Lessons in Denmark, which is actually how I found her. So this is proof. I am living proof that podcasts get you clients, folks. So Katalin shares not only the leads that she got from her podcast, especially in the first few episodes, which is so amazing, but also some other surprises on the professional people around her and how that built up because of the podcast. So, Katalin, how has your podcast impacted your business?
Oh, it has impacted my business in every way.
Whoa. Okay, let's break it down. What's one way? We'll start with one.
Yeah. First of all, there came a lot of new clients out of it. When we started the podcast, there was an immediate inflow, like a massive inflow. And later on, it became a little bit slower, but it's still, we still feel it.
Okay. So, how much are you willing to share? Like massive, like 10, 15, 20, 100, like how much is a massive inflow?
Actually, I didn't calculate this, but we got like 10, 15 new clients who are like regular clients.
Yeah.
And we got ad hoc clients who maybe had one or two questions or booked a consultation with us. I don't know, maybe 50 or 100.
Right. Wow. That's
funny. Yes.
That's amazing. Wow. And how many episodes in did you notice that? Was that the first episode or later down the line?
Not right away, but I think around the fourth, fifth episode.
Wow.
Then people, there were already people contacting us after the first episodes, but it was more like, oh, we saw the podcast, it's so great,
right?
Congratulations, or some suggestions how we could improve on the podcast. For example, that we should put subtitles on YouTube and things like that.
Yeah. This is part of Podcast to Connect. We're in the middle of a season right now where we're following April from Dorky Podcast through a series of kind of like mini coaching sessions where we're working through her audience growth. The entire season is focused on audience growth for her history podcast. It's an entire season. We're at episode 2. It'll go to episode 8 by the end of the year. So please do join us for that. Wow. Okay. So that's one way. Massive lead generation.
Another way was that we got a lot of contact from people who wanted to work with us. So it is not a problem to get new people into the company who would like to work for the company, new employees.
Wow.
So, for example, at one point when we already were very well into the podcast, my business partner decided to leave the company. And then suddenly I was alone and it was not a problem to find new people who wanted to work with me. So it was amazing, actually.
I love that. Okay. In this series, you're the first person to mention that aspect of it. People talk about finding others in their field as a community to like bounce ideas off of, but nobody's mentioned this yet. This is really interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I have 2 full-time employees now, and both of them came to me because of the podcast.
I love this so much because in your video podcast, you and your co-hosts are there and you're telling information, but you also are showing your personalities. You're joking and you're being yourselves, and that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Love it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Probably that's the reason. So they kind of learn you, how you are as a person, how you react, what is your attitude. And
that's fantastic. Okay. Do we have a third way?
I mean, the third way is that it also somehow sorts out clients. Like it makes a pre-sorting somehow. Earlier, it did happen that sometimes we got a new client and it turned out that we were not a good match. Their way of thinking about their bookkeeping was not the way we thought about how it should be. And there were some friction about it, or they finally left us, or we said like, no, we don't want to work together any longer, or it will be not possible to work together any longer. And it's somehow this problem is not present any longer. Those people who come to us, they come to us because they want to work with us. They kind of know how we are, and they get the good match clients.
This is my favorite aspect of podcast marketing, is it really does do that sorting of clients, like you said. And the reason why you're here actually is because in that latest episode, that behind the scenes episode, I'm trying to show it here, of the podcast itself, you talked specifically about this sorting mechanism for clients. And I was like, yes, that is such a good thing, because the personality comes through and then they're listening to you in their ears, and they might be seeing you with your video podcast. And there's just that connection that happens that doesn't happen in other mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like, it changed also me and us. Also, my co-host said that it pushed us out of our own comfort zone. In a major way.
Yeah.
And it somehow reflected on all our lives. We are more willing to start new things. We are not so afraid of things anymore. So it was also like a personality change in some way. So it gave us personally also something.